Are y'all ready to head off the trails? I am the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel. If you guys haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. We would love to have you. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that amazing intro music. We really appreciate it. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. And for right now, this week, you know, it's Christmas. And I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. That's one word all jumbled up together. War Woman Goods on Etsy and also on my website, The Cryptid Huntress, in the shop link. I sell a beautiful variety of Native American vintage jewelry. So if you're looking for a nice gift, I'll put it in the mail tomorrow if you guys buy it tonight, okay? Or tomorrow. Okay, so I have an amazing guest here at Spaced Out Radio tonight. Once again, I have Tricia Brown here with me. And don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a great program set up for us. Okay, so y'all please be sure to check that out. And let's get to our guest. Tricia Brown is a researcher, investigator, and experiencer. She's a metaphysician and with a master's in metaphysics. She's been certified in many energy healing modalities, including Reiki, past life regression, distance healing, and color and sound therapy. She has many years of a background in dental assisting, dog training, and being a personal assistant, 40 plus years for caring for people and animals. She applies the teachings of the mind, body, and spirit connection for health and wellness. She's also studied park management, is certified in CPR as wilderness first responder. She has training and schooling in outdoor skills such as backpacking, search and rescue. Man, if I could talk tonight, it'd be great. Search and rescue, fire suppression, interpretation, and other studies like conservation, habitat, ecosystems, biospheres that relate to preparing for ranger training and other work in the Park Service. She's been watched over, guided, and taught by teachers from the non-physical since a very young age. You can call them helping spirits, spirit guides, archangels, angels, and possibly the Sasquatch people, or what she likes to call them, the tree people. You guys, I met Tricia on Bigfoot Michigan Rob's show a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a week ago, when I was there co-hosting, and I had an instant connection to Tricia. And so tonight I have her on Spaced Out Radio. So please help me welcome to the show, Miss Tricia Brown.
Hi.
Hey, Tricia.
Thank you. That was a great intro. Good job.
Thank you. I was stumbling all over my words there, but it's okay. This is actually the last show on Off the Trails for 2022. Tricia, you're my last guest.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. No, thank you. You're the grand finale. Okay.
I love it.
Yes. So, and I could not be happier because I really did feel such a connection to you.
You too. Thank
when
you.
I met you on Bigfoot Michigan Rob's show, Brunch with Bigfoot. Shout out to Rob.
That was fun. That was
fun. That was a lot of fun. And
I
felt like
really great questions, and like we had such a great conversation.
We did. I felt like we have a lot in common. So
I know. I'm super excited to talk to you about that because
yes. Well, me too. Well, because we both go out and do research and a lot of time in the field, in the woods. And you have a very special connection to the Sasquatch people. And I would just love to talk with you about that tonight. And maybe you could tell us some stories and about your connection and your mind, body, spirit connection. That is very important, in my opinion, when it comes to the Sasquatch people.
It seems that it's helped. Maybe it's a correlation. Maybe it's coincidence.
Yeah. I think it's, I think that they have abilities that we don't even realize the potential of that we can tap into.
Yes.
Some of us kind of have an idea. Some of us do.
That's what I've been really enjoying is more and more either finding those people like that even have even more big connections to them. And then, finding them and having these conversations with them, or the documentaries where they're discussing, that Sasquatch Speaks is a super good documentary. a lot of those people are talking about really deep connections with them. And I was open for that. I didn't even know that documentary existed though when I was at the beginnings of this.
Well, I need to watch that.
Oh, it's amazing. Yes.
Seen it.
I can send you the link.
Oh yeah, please do. I'll send it out to some of my friends. Anybody wants to watch it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Hi, Daryl. Hi, everyone. Hi, Daryl.
Yes. We have an amazing chat here at my shows on Off the Trails. We have the best audience. So yeah. So if there are any questions come up, I'll let you know.
A lot of us that are listening right now are people that are the same mindset as us, I'm guessing.
Frequency. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're it's a safe place for us weird Sasquatchers that use telepathy and things like that. So yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and actually some of my team shows up in the chat a lot of times too.
Oh, good. Tell them to say hi and let me know them.
Okay, I will. If I can keep up with the chat tonight, I will.
Okay. Oh, that's my dog.
So tell me a little bit of. Oh, is that Lucy? I saw her on your Facebook today or yesterday, I think.
Yes, she's in her process, and all of a sudden I thought today, you know what? Let's put her bed up on the counter. She'll get to be in the range of me, like getting to watch me, and I can watch her, and it's been fun. Definitely never done this before.
Perfect.
First.
I know. Well, the last time I talked to you, you had a parrot. Is that a parrot that you have? You have a bird on your shoulder.
Yeah, that's my bird, Manny. She's a blue and gold macaw. That's my baby. I've had her 26 years.
She's beautiful. Absolutely.
Thanks. I take her with me everywhere. Before I got her, I have had parakeets. I started with a parakeet in 5th grade, and I was able to train a parakeet by myself. I could be in the other part of the house, and I'd whistle, and I'd hold up my finger, and up in the air, fly through the house and land on my finger. I did that when I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
So really kind of
oh my gosh,
into animals since a very young age. Connecting with animals and stuff. I'm not perfect, but with animals, but I'm not a serial killer or anything like that, but yeah. So it progressed, and then the next thing I know, I'm like, I want a bird that I could take anywhere in the world, and then I got Manny.
Well, that's a perfect addition, and our animals are our family, so
yes,
they're our children, absolutely. And I think that connection that you have with animals it transitions into your, being close with the Sasquatch people. And something that I often ask some of my guests is do you think that Sasquatch is more human-like? Are they like animals? What do you think a Sasquatch is? Or are they just a totally different species? And what do you think? What would be your answer if I asked you, what is a Sasquatch?
Well, okay, so I feel that we all could have maybe different experiences with them. Maybe we see different things. There seems to be different, I don't want to say species of them. I don't know what the right word is, but depending on, also who are the people that are talking to them, and then they're giving them answers. And that they will call themselves the ancient ones. There's a group of them called the ancient ones that are more of the shorter hair, and then they look more human-like, like us. And then there's the ones that have more of the conical shaped head that has maybe that look to them. But I definitely don't have all the answers. And what I've seen, I can only go by the fact that one showed. Sounds weird when I say he showed himself to me. Every time I say that, I laugh. But it's a partial. Sorry, I just realized that the other day that might sound weird. But, he showed his.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I know.
Okay. Sorry. I know what you mean.
Say it because I thought it, and then I'm like, who knows? Of all the people in the world, someone's gonna go hee hee, So I just had to say it myself.
That's hilarious.
But like he showed
His whole being.
He showed his midsection. So I didn't see
Okay.
any arms or legs or head. So it was like seeing a fur rug, go across the trail. And so that was my first sighting, was of him being partially materialized. And it was very purposeful. It was an approach for me to process for a long time. And then come to this, 2018, I saw that in 2005 or 2006. And then in 2018, it was when I had my first like official introduction of who they, some things about them. And it progressed from there. And then I realized that they had been in some way or another been around me for years of my life. And I can tell you some different stories, and it's been continuing on and continuing on and continuing on. And that's really super fun. So I don't know. Okay. I can only tell you that I also have had experiences with who I like to call the ancient people of the land. I was like, I want to connect with the ancient people who've been here, who were here for thousands of years, and what their life was like, and connect to them on a human level. Like, I'd love to learn from you. And so there's that. And then my studying, like what I call shamanism, like listening to the audiobooks of the medicine people and the shamans teaching their take in certain teachings of the indigenous teachings, of the spirituality. And then and so my experiences that I'm having around the United States, some of the ones I'm like, is this a Sasquatch, or is it a native person? So because there's, as I'm listening to people's experiences, there seems to be some, for me, in my experience, there's some, similarities of what a person from thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago would do to show their initiating contact. Okay. And then also the Sasquatch people. So sometimes, like in my videos, I have a YouTube channel called Exploring the Paranormal with Tricia Brown. And I'll just share some of my experiences that I've had for me, but also if people want to, maybe they'll learn from me. I don't know. So sometimes I'm like saying, is this maybe a Sasquatch, maybe a juvenile Sasquatch, or is this an ancient native person, a non-physical that's getting my attention? So that's kind of does that answer the question? I mean, like, that's as best I can say, So,
wow.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about. And, and some people, it might be a little harder to wrap their head around that because, to a lot of people, Sasquatch, it's just like flesh and bone, and it's there's not the spiritual side to it, and the telepathy and the mind speak and the spiritual aspect, all of that. And so that's what I wanted to kind of talk to you about tonight, because I love exploring this.
Me too. We could be on here for days.
Oh yeah, totally. You and I could.
I love this kind of stuff so much. Oh my God. Yeah. So feel free, ask away. I'll answer and share as much as I can. I mean, we're helping each other with this, this subject, like learning from each other.
Yeah. When was the first time you had an experience with a Sasquatch being, or the tree people?
The tree people. Okay. So I would say my first memory, like that, my conscious memory was the first time was in 1996. And I was, hey, Vancouver Island. Cool. I was on a fishing trip with a boyfriend, and we went to the mountains of Idaho to fish along the Lochsa River. And that was my first, when I started remembering some of these experiences, that was the first one. I was, he left to go to the store to go get lures. So I stayed along this river on the side of the bank that had these boulders or small rocks all along the side of the bank. You'll see that sometimes along the bank of a river, or like the bank of an ocean seawall or something like that. So I was sitting on one of these rocks, and across from me, like this river that was like 40 feet across, and a deep water river that was moving slow. I could tell it was like darker water, and that it was that's how I knew it was deeper. And right across was a really pretty, just completely smooth, hi Susie, sand beach. Just, I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, in all my years of being out in the mountains and the country and the beach, and I had never come upon something like that. I mean, I've seen some really pretty areas in my being in the mountains of the Santa Cruz Mountains and in the Sierras and the foothills of the Sierras. I've seen some amazing things, scenery, and this is definitely near the top. So I'm looking around, and so he was going to be gone for about an hour. And so I was looking around to make sure, get my bearings. Like, hey, there's no mountain lion jumping on me from, behind me, turning, looking around. And then I see these footsteps in the sand, like going from the water up into the tree line at the back of this beach on the left side. And at that time in my life, I mean, the only thing I could think of is what else would make such big, long feet prints? What else in the world, in that part of the world, could it be? Bear, right? Like, that's all I could think of that it could possibly make sense to be. I wasn't thinking anything else. And then all of a sudden,
could be a bear.
That's it. What else could it be? At that
time, to be a bear, right?
That's it. That's all I got to think about at that time. So all of a sudden, like 50 yards up into the trees, and this was a kind of a steep angle up. Thanks for the, yes, you got it. Awesome. That's, I had fun.
That's Rob.
The other day. Yes. Good.
Yeah, Rob, we talked about you a while ago. Rewind to the beginning.
Okay. So this happened all so quick. My eyes saw the steps. I'm like, okay, that's got to be bear. And then all of a sudden, like 50 yards up, elevation gain, like pretty nice angle up. I'm down inside a little canyon. A tree snap, like a really loud snap. And then this sound of like, oh my gosh, my eyes probably were bugging out, like staring in the area that the sound. And that was like all that I heard in the entire canyon was this echoing tree snap. And then this sort of swishing sound of like something like pushing over I don't know if it was trees or like branches, whoosh, whoosh, sound. Wow. And then I was like, okay, is a bear going to start coming down through the trees? And then I'm going to see it on the sand. And then what? So I was thinking about that for a little bit. And then all of a sudden it was like this peace came over me, and I let it go, and I didn't even care about it. It just nothing else happened. So that was in my processing all this, in my listening to people's experiences, like binge listening to people's experiences on Dixie Cryptid and a little bit of Steve Isdall's stories. Totally. That's when the memory, of that came back, and I started processing it. And that, with the sighting, him purposefully running in front of me and showing what he showed of me, like introducing me to this obvious that they're intradimensional, which I somehow knew that since the moment one. Like, how else could there only be one footprint? Like, what are they hopping on one foot? It's just like, so that was so. And then, I mean, I grew up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I remember walking past more than a few times these really tall, like really big branches, really thick branches lined up next to each other against a tree, and things like that. And I remember just thinking, maybe there's teenagers out here entertaining themselves, or maybe the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts, or maybe pagans. No, I mean, like, I don't know what to think about.
You never know. You can never underestimate the power of bored campers and drunk people. Okay.
This is like seriously nowhere near like the normal like campsites. I would go to places where the only people that would be there would be people that worked at Hewlett Packard because it was owned, this area of land in the middle of the Santa Cruz Mountains was called Little Basin, and it was owned by Hewlett Packard, and only the workers, the employees would go there. And then my dad helped do the company picnics, so we would just go camp there all the time with literally no one there. So I would get to go to places that it was just me and my mom and my dad. So yeah, so seeing that kind of stuff. And then one time seeing a tree growing really strange angle. And I remember walking past it, like something really stood out. I was about, I don't know, like maybe 7 or 8, like just walking past thinking, that's weird. And then just, continuing on. So that's sort of my early stuff is those things.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I picked up on you pretty much from the get-go, kind of understood that, in your opinion, Sasquatch, the tree people, they could be interdimensional, and there's more of a supernatural element to the phenomenon, I guess you can call it. And I have to say, the exact same thing was my experience as well. I mean, from the very first time that I ever went out into the field to do research on Bigfoot it was in Georgia.
Okay.
I had a possible cloaked Bigfoot knock my legs out from underneath me, run up behind me. Wow. There was something it was an invisible force, but I could feel it and I could hear it, and I felt it.
Okay. So you felt like a physicalness.
Yes.
Kind of take your knees out, right? Like where you go
backs of my legs. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Like kind of messing with you. So you were standing totally legs straight.
I was walking, yes, in an open field. Okay. Yes.
Wow.
Well, I was walking. Well, I had stopped, actually. Yes, I had stopped because I thought one of the guys was running up behind me to sound like somebody was going to tackle me from behind.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I thought they were playing a joke on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you turn and like there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Wow.
And to add another element to it, the guys were watching me through their thermals and their FLIRs, their thermal imaging devices and things like that. So, and they didn't see anything. There was nothing there.
Okay. So they're able to not even be detected. That's pretty neat.
There was nothing. Yeah. It took me a minute to try to figure out what just happened.
So yeah, I've had a couple experiences where they were doing this sort of owl calling. I've had this in two different states. First time was in upstate South Carolina at a campsite. And then the second time was I think we were either in southern North Carolina or North Georgia mountains. We were backpacking. So I don't know exactly where we were at this moment, but the second time was then. And they all gathered in the trees, like near me. Like, the first time when I was in upstate South Carolina, was like owl call in 4 different points, like as if they were, in my studies, that they're like kind of the guardians of the forest, and they're like, kind of in these different points on the land doing their thing. And I felt like they were calling to each other, north, south, east, west, like kind of like when you're imagining looking down at a satellite image. So you're seeing just the tops of the trees. Yeah. So I was imagining, that owl call north, south, east, west. And then all of a sudden, like in a little bit after that, there was the sound like, ooh, like in the trees right outside my campsite, all together, all of a sudden, they all then did like a calling. There was like 5 of them or 4 of them, 5 of them, I think. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then inside them doing that sound was then also like even more of like a primal man-like vocaling. And it was such it started pulling me towards it. It was so fascinating. I couldn't believe it in the moment of the experience. But if I would have kept going, I would have gone downhill because there was a downhill slope there. So that was my first time like going, okay, all of a sudden they're right there. I don't have all the answers, but that's light. That's light, a circle opening during ceremony. That's light. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes.
So that happened. And then, I was backpacking in I think southern North Carolina. And then all of a sudden, same thing. They were like out in the trees doing the ooh, 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 like 5 of them. And I just was like, wow. Did she say that Bigfoot sound like owls? Yeah, exactly. It was like,
those 800-pound owls.
Yeah. But like, they're obviously, to me, like in that moment is like, they're in an invisible form. So they're not weighing anything. I mean, like otherwise, or it's some other being that's doing that sound. But as I'm listening to these people talking about this, people are saying similar type things.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've heard them sound like owls. Here's the thing. I have a wildlife biologist on my team. And so Keith can tell you,
oh my God.
he can identify every animal noise in the field. And so every plant, every animal. Nice. And so we're always looking to Keith and the other guys too. There's a lot of people that are very knowledgeable on things like that.
Yeah, because you can get the verification, right? He could be like, no, that's truly just an owl. And I do that to myself too. Like as I'm out and about hiking or whatever, I'm like, that's just an owl because of what the behavior of it is doing. Is how I know that, you know, and then also the tone and like the way it's doing. And there seems to be this other, like, also you have this sort of inner sense that happens when it does it. Like it's not only you hear something like this owl, but then it's got like a little bit of a difference in it. And then you have like your inner sense that says, oh my God, wow. Yeah. So.
Okay. There was one night where we were out in the field, deep into the mountains in North Georgia, and we sounded it sounded like an owl hooting, but then it hooted, and then it started sounding like a different animal. It kind of morphed, and then it started hysterically laughing. Okay. Yes, it was almost like it was trying to sound like an owl, and then it knew it wasn't really sounding like an owl, and then it started laughing.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Yeah. Oh my God, I just saw him like laughing at himself or something.
Yeah.
Like he's like trying it out, and then he's like, I sound ridiculous.
It made us all laugh. I mean, it was actually
wow.
I was being interviewed last week on, I think it was Night Callers Bigfoot Radio, and Lauren was asking me what one positive experience was. You know, what was my most positive experience with Sasquatch? And you know, I thought about that story, but I told her another story because I've had several very positive encounters, you know, but that was one of them. And I thought after the show, I was like, that was actually the funniest one that I ever had.
How fun is that?
Yeah. They knew they were.
I was like imagining like creepy laughing. And then I realized, no, he was just laughing at the fact that he was whatever. That's what I think. What do you think it was? Do you think he was like laughing at himself because he was trying to?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, see, we're not the kind of team that goes out there and does all the whoops and the knocks and the whistles and all that kind of stuff. We're not out there to rile anything up or to try to get a response. Yeah, because we're just out there to kind of observe and communicate and you know, see what happens.
Yes, I agree. Totally. Yeah, I agree with you. That when I was telling you about that first hearing all the owls, the beings in the tree, right after that. Part of the you know, me asking them, you know, back in 2019, can I learn from you? Will you teach me? I want to be friends. And then I start hearing the vocals like pretty quick after that. And not just owl calls, but like a vocal sound that I'll tell you in a second. Something told me I wanted to, like right after I heard that trippy experience of hearing their vocal, the owl sounds, I wanted to tell someone. So I thought of someone, I wanted to call him. And then for some reason I felt like I'm going to check my voicemail. And like right when I was about to check my voicemail on my phone, or what I thought was coming from my phone, I heard a man's voice say the word renegade. So I think it's possible that was a little telepathy happening. And so that they were using that, like, kind of like, I don't know, like inspiring me to get on my phone so that I would be tuning in. And then I would be sort of in that tuning in moment. And then I would be able to hear them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm talking about. Right?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. You need to get on their frequency. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that they've been doing things with me to get me to raise my vibration and then they send me a message. I've been having that more and more, even recently, where they're like I feel guided to like listen to something that really super is peaceful to me or brings me into a good feeling. And then I'm told like I feel like I'm they're telling me through a knowing, like I will all of a sudden have a knowing of information.
Yes.
You know about that
Yeah.
too, right?
Downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a download.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, okay. So something else that I was really wanting to kind of talk to you about tonight too is the tones and the sounds and
Yes.
how you use, you do Reiki. I have been certified in Reiki 1. Okay.
Okay.
So I have
You're
a
getting
little bit of
there.
knowledge on it. I'm getting there. I just
Yes.
started. Okay.
Cool.
So
Nice. I love
yes,
it.
you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
So but I'm very much into energy healing and into not to say that like the tonal things, the resonant tone, all that kind of stuff. See that we use that also in remote viewing when we're doing
Oh, really?
like the Monroe Gateway programs and things like that. There's resonant tuning, but
Oh, wow. Okay.
vocalizations, tones, vibrations, those have some kind of connection with the
Yes.
communication of all the beings and
I think
amongst us
so.
humans
Mhm.
as well.
Yes.
So what kind of experiences have you had with the tones and the vibrational frequencies amongst you and the Sasquatch people and the tree people?
So, okay. So this actually is kind of pretty new that I've had this sort of like a realization, I think, of
Mm-hmm.
this is so in my, okay, first I'm going to just add a little, I'm just going to say a little background so that it'll have some context and make sense. So in my color and sound therapy, you use, there's some different, you do a combination of some things over the chakra systems, over the energy systems of the body, or the part of the body that somebody's telling me of, like maybe something going on in their body or something that they'd like to have come up into their lives. So then I'm able to kind of use my intuitiveness, like, okay, this is the spleen chakra or the emotional center, and then the solar plex area for the mental aspect, and then there's the heart chakra. There's these 7 main chakras systems in our
Mm-hmm.
like little vortexes that are spinning, that are pulling in the life force energy into our bodies to help us stay healthy and well. And so there in the color and sound therapy, I use tuning forks. I use the color is also frequency that also corresponds to the different chakras. And then you use your tone of voice when you tone, meaning like you do a sound. And so in my color and sound therapy, there's these sacred sounds taken from around the world. So like there's Yahweh, there's Om, there's Ah, A-H, there's E, I, Ah, these different ones. Okay. So I was walking out, just on a hike, and all of a sudden it occurred to me that the Ah sound is the heart chakra. Okay, I'm just going to say that. Okay, so now, okay, yeah. So my first time hearing a vocal was in 2019, and it was very soon after I said, I want to know you. Thank you for being with me in my life. I felt this feeling come over me of welcoming and love and euphoria. I cried. I said, I want to be friends. I want to help you. And I did it by being in the forest, and I spoke to the space, and I spoke to the trees, and imagining that the roots going down into the earth and then connecting to the entire planet of the Sasquatch people.
Wow.
Asking them to pass this along. And then soon after that, I heard a vocal in Ella Belle, Georgia. And then the month after that, I heard it, or not a month after that, but yes, actually I did. Like not long after that, I heard it in Berwick, Savannah, Georgia area. So what
Really?
yes, in a neighborhood, like in a forest that connects to a wetlands. attached to a suburbs. It was amazing. So the vocal that I heard is, it was like, okay, I want to know you. Okay. So then let's say days later. Okay. I went to my friend's land in Elabelle, Georgia, and a lot of his family owned land, like 8 acres, whatever, like a lot of land in this really pretty country setting near a river. And so I was walking around and I heard an owl like coming from behind me left. And it was one of those, that seems a little like an owl, but a little off. And then I heard
you can tell.
Yes. And then there was a response coming from another point. And I jokingly say, like, as if they were saying to each other, she's right here. Okay. I don't know. It was very interesting. And then
she's coming your way.
Yeah. A couple of days after that, I was visiting a guy on kind of near where I heard the call out vocal, the second one, the response call, like 5-minute walk from there. There's a guy living in a camper on this land of his brother's portion. And I had asked him, are you having any experiences out here? Because I'm totally into the paranormal thing too. I connect with, with my mediumship and just enjoying connecting to humans. I love if there happens to be any humans around that want to say hi to me and be in the same realm, like a high realm of connecting. I'm open for that too.
High vibe tribe. Yes. High vibrational frequencies only.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he said he was hearing knocks on the door of the camper. And I was like, really? Okay. Is this this is at the beginnings, like for me, I'm like, okay, this could be maybe a Sasquatch person, or maybe it's a spirit. I want to find out. So I went over to talk to him. Yeah. And we're standing outside, and it was in the summertime, like maybe August or September. I'm not exactly sure. It was like the time of the year where the insects are in the trees and they're super singing like really loud. And all of a sudden we're standing next to each other, like 15 feet, just outside talking. And all of a sudden I hear what I call the man yell. I call it the man yell. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like a deep voice that sounds human, but different, like more not it didn't make my whole body shake or nothing like that. It was just that the reason why I knew it was something legit is because the guy, so it did this that's what it did, that sound, kind of that length and that tone, the guy went like this.
Wow.
Like when it happened, the guy went like, he looked at me like, holy F, what was that? And I stayed super poker face, but inside myself, I was like, oh my God, no way.
It's amazing that you recognize that. Yeah.
That was pretty amazing, because it was like magical, like these things to me, like these magical experiences that started happening, these mystical, magical, like beyond the norm, fun things. So that happened. That was my first hearing what I call the man yell. And then I don't know, like how long after that, maybe it was a month later or so, maybe less. I was sitting on my porch, the back patio, screened in porch, and all of a sudden the same exact tone, and that, I try to be logical about it. I'm like, is that just some dude, like some weirdo on in the other complex, yelling out something? But what it was though is that it was the same exact like exactly sound, tone, length.
Well, it sounds like it was kind of centered towards you, or they wanted whoever it was, whatever it was, wanted you to hear that.
I think
it
so.
was
yes,
being
thank you.
projected towards you is what I'm saying. Projected your way.
Too now, yes. So then, what's even more confirmed it or verified it, I guess, whichever one, is I moved all the way across the United States to. I was in Eureka, Montana, which is like minutes. Like actually, Eureka, Montana hits into the border of Canada. That's how close I was to Canada. and I went camping in June. So the end of 2020, or sorry, the end of 2019, and then got into the beginning of 2020, and then I moved to Eureka, Montana, in June of 2020. Okay, that giggle just. I don't know what that was. Okay, you like my giggle?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm flashing these comments up quick tonight. We got a bunch.
Awesome. Oh my God, I love it. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, William. Thank you. You have a good night, buddy. Thank you. Okay.
So I was camping out there by myself, super having a good old time with me and my dog and my parrot.
Oh, camping's always fun.
Camping at this lake. I had the whole place to myself. There's only like 4 or 5 campsites, like more of the primitive type camping. And there was a bench, there was a fire pit, there was firewood sitting there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to totally do this. Watching the bats. It was at night now. And it was time to go to bed. I was car camping. I had my mattress in the back with my seats down in my Toyota 4Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Going to bed. All of a sudden, man yell coming from like the left of the lake up into the trees, like up there where it was just land. The man yelled, and then let's say if you're, I don't know how to explain it, but like way then to the left, let's say I heard the first one in east, then the next one was in west. Return man yell, the exact same sound again.
Wow.
The same tone. And I listen to now more and more different audios of vocalings, and I've never heard anything else. This is my own seeming pretty unique. A couple other people have mentioned the same tone, but this is just my experience. This is what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then just recently, like, I don't know, like a couple months ago, I'm walking along, and all of a sudden this realization or this possibility of like them vocalizing awe, which corresponds to the heart chakra. And, I've heard other people talk about like, I don't know if I hadn't yet, maybe I just thought it like that it's possible that they're doing the tones that they're doing sometimes. I don't think all the time, but
sometimes they scream at you, and it's really scary.
I don't want to say that all of their vocalings is exactly a healing.
Right. Sometimes they're scary. They don't mean to be, probably. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they do.
I like having the good experiences. I can only speak for myself. Right. I've done my work, my inner work, and my stuff to like learn how to have like just the most gentle, good, fun, happy, whatever experiences I can possibly have with the non-physicals.
Well, you energetically, I feel it with you. I feel like you energetically project love. Okay. Aww. Love and a gentleness about your soul. Okay. And I think that is when,
unless I'm driving. No.
When I think of the heart chakra,
I'm not that, but no, sorry.
Yeah. Well, when I think of the heart chakra, I think of love. Okay. Yes, and being open to love, to giving and receiving love. Yeah. And so I feel like if that is the tone, the word, the phrase that's connected to the heart chakra, and that's what you're hearing, I think it's an energy exchange, perhaps, of love and love, giving and receiving.
I love it. I mean, it's been like mind blowing, like them initiating with me. I don't have to yell out or knock on things, or they're doing it. They're letting me know that they're there. And I just feel so honored, like I've cried thinking about that, that first memory of them, I think that it was a Sasquatch in the trees, like very camouflaged in the deepness of the trees that I couldn't see along that river, up the slope. And I think that he was saying to me, those are my steps. I did that because I was wondering, like, oh my God, is that a bear? And like, I was like, oh. And then it was like, that's me. I'm right here, and those are mine. And then I just felt this sense of peace, like, I don't know if it was from him or not. I just know that I just felt relaxed, and because I grew up going out into the woods and feeling my entire life has been like just a very gentle nature experience. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's associated with them, but I do think that they've been around me a lot, like watching over me, watching me as I would be tromping through creeks and picking up salamanders and banana slugs, and I don't know.
With your dogs too. Now, do you take your pets with you and your bird?
Yes.
Do you take your pets with you into the woods?
Yes, for years. I mean, I've had my bird 26 years and I've had my dog 17 and a half years. So yeah, I mean, day one, I took my bird out, just completely wanting her to be as well-adjusted and what do you call it? Just desensitized to as much. Oh.
Uh-oh. Watch out, Lucy.
Put my dog down.
We're going to take, yeah, she's up really high. So there you go.
Okay.
Just in the nick of time. You got her.
It's like, oh my God. Okay. So yes. So yes.
Oh, sweet dog.
Yeah.
You're a good mama, Tricia.
Thanks. Well, I'm like, if I'm going to put her up there, that's why I want to be able to see her like constantly. Like, there's no way I'm going to hear like a sound of a crashing. I'm like, oh my God, my dog just
when I saw that, I thought, think fast. There's a game we played when we were kids. Think fast. Go grab it. Go grab your dog.
I did. Thank God. My reflexes are good. So
yes,
yeah. What were we talking about?
We're talking about taking your animals out into the field with you.
Oh my God.
Yes. And then your dog knew we were talking about her because she'd stood up. So
yeah,
we were talking about her.
I have been my animals and me they've been with me a lot during paranormal experiences. Okay. Over the years, a lot. And my bird, way before I got my dog, I mean, like, I have lived in rooms or had lived in houses where there was some stuff. I could see some stuff going on and things were going on. And mostly it just didn't seem to phase her at all. Like, she just blends. She blends in. She's like welcomed in nature. I've noticed that. Like, literally, how like the joke or the thing is the birds and the bees. Like, I have literally seen where in her outdoor cage, like the bees and the wasps and the flies and the bugs, she just is welcomed by nature. I've observed, I've been welcomed by nature. My dog has been welcomed by nature. These people talking about these bad experiences with, maybe dog. I'm very thankful that I have been welcomed, or I think I'm led to I feel drawn to those more positive, uplifting, higher vibrational places. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, I know what you're saying. Yes.
They've both been allowed to go to places, been invited. Earlier, someone mentioned about ceremony, and there was a time I was on the land that I went to my spiritual studies school in North Georgia. It's called Delphi University of Spiritual Studies, and it's in the town of McKaysville, Georgia. Have you heard of that area at all?
Yes. Okay. I've not heard of that school, but I know where that area is.
You gotta go.
I might have to enroll.
Maybe we could meet up there together and I can show you around. Oh my God, that would
I would love that.
That place.
We could do a little Bigfooting. Yeah, too.
I want to. Yes.
We don't live too far from each other. I'm in Georgia. You're in Alabama.
Yeah.
We've got some Bigfoot dates coming. Okay.
I'm excited.
We're gonna do it when the weather's nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do it.
Okay, so I went there for a volunteer thing where we were helping to clear what's called the Healing Passage, which is a trail that goes along this creek. And the Cherokee, the ancient Cherokee and the Mayans, supposedly, would bring their people miles away to take them to this creek, the Healing Passage, and the water that has this, special properties to it. And I for real experienced it with my dog, like for real. While we were there doing our volunteering, this couple, the husband, he had his own, he was also a medicine man, a medicine person or energy worker or shaman, and so he we did a ceremony, and I got there like a minute after it started, and I had my parrot with me and my dog. They go with me everywhere. And as we were walking up, I don't know who said it, but one of them said, basically saying that the non-physicals, the native people of the area, the tribe of the area, were saying that bring the animals into. The animals are welcome. And I felt so honored.
Well, that's good.
I felt so honored by that. And so that's what my experience has been like, and then I started learning, like, by shamans or by listening to the teachings, how to honor the land, how to be as respectful by saying the right thing and then doing some right things. And so I do that as much as I can. And it's helped. It's been, I don't know how to say, it's served me well. I don't know the right words, but like it's helped. It's made me have a good experience. And then also that they, let me know that they're there by doing different things. And
well, it's probably strengthened your connection, your energetic connection to the tree people, the Sasquatch people, to nature. It's that mutual respect. And I feel like a lot of people who have the most experiences, a lot of experiences with the Bigfoots and other beings out there and all around us. There's a mutual respect, amongst you. And I think that gives you a more positive experience. Mm-hmm. And it allows for more of a long-term experience in my experience. That makes sense.
Yes, it totally does. I really wanted that for myself because I have had mostly good experiences. There's been some that were not as, like when you're able to see things too, or feel things, mm-hmm. and they're like definitely don't look like, high beings. They look the opposite, or they feel like, okay, that feeling coming from there is not happy.
I try to avoid places like that if I can. I mean,
but if they come to
I'm out there researching.
Let's say you happen to be, move into a place that seems that there's maybe a couple portals in the room, mm-hmm. From who knows, possibly past somebody Ouija board. I don't know. You're going to see
rituals. Yeah.
You're going to see and feel different things. And then also depending on, I do animal house sitting on the side, and you go into someone's house and how are they feeling? Are they going through stuff? Are they having a hard time? And then, then maybe you'll see different levels of beings there, and you're like, okay.
It's weird. I know, Tricia. Okay, I've got to address this comment. Which Channel Warhorse? Thank you so much for the comment, Channel Warhorse. Trey is actually the head of one of my teams, and I'm on that team that with the Meadow Project.
Oh yeah.
And so we do have portals, and there was nothing telling us to leave with the portals. It was something in an SD session in the same meadow where they were telling us to leave. But of course, when you're working with a spirit box, a lot of those voices that come through are low vibrational frequencies. So I personally don't like spirit boxes. I don't like the SD session. I feel like I'm communicating with lower vibrational beings when we do that.
Okay.
So, but not to say I wasn't a part of it. I was still there.
We
still talk about it, but it's not my favorite thing to do because those can be anything talking to you. You know what I mean? Like when you're out in the field, it could be just some jokester, a spirit. So,
that's true. I mean, for sure. I feel like more people, if they really were to understand that, when they're like in a house and they're like, do this for yes and whatever for no. And then just because the thing does it doesn't mean it's them. Like, come on, people, don't be so gullible.
Exactly.
Gather
Lily
more
Pond,
information, like to just see, who it might be, like that kind of thing. But like I actually have had some decent
Lily Pond. Thank you, by the way.
Oh yeah. I've had some decent experiences with
Jorgen. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt. That is a big old super chat right there. Thank you, Jorgen. Johansson. You're awesome. The
Nice.
sweetest. Thank you. SOR. Thanks you. Merry Christmas to you.
Oh.
We appreciate that.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
let's talk about portals some more. Okay, so
Yeah, portals.
so I'm gonna just say it. Like, it's so weird to just blurt it, but like, I teleported, like, for real. Like, it for real happened. My bird was on my shoulder, and my dog, I don't know how she came to, but like, she was not on leash. She was just following along with us. And I the only thing I could think of is that the space, the bubble of area or whatever,
Yeah.
just was a distance enough where we all, like, immediately were in a different part of the forest. So
that sounds like a portal to me. Like you walked into one.
I mean, I don't know. I've tried to wrap my mind, like, because I was like, I want to learn from you. There was a suggestion by Wendy Garrett. She has a podcast too. She thought that it's possible that they wanted me to see, like, what it's a way that they travel, like how they can teleport from one area to another, so that I experienced it myself. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. What?
Jorgen, I'm laughing because of the comments. It's really cute. Jorgen is in Europe, I believe, and he's like, it's only $10. It looks like this is funny, you guys. Listen, it's so sweet of you. Thank you. Any kind of super chat, we'd love it. Thank you so much, Tricia. We've actually run out of time tonight. Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. I would love for you to come back on my show, and we're gonna continue this. We'll do part 2. Okay. Next year, which is only in a week or 2. So, but I would love to have you back on, Tricia. You are just wonderful. I've had so much fun talking with you tonight. Thanks. Where can people find you if anybody wants to connect with you? Because you have a great YouTube channel.
Yeah. So you could. Okay. So Facebook. Just find me on Facebook. Tricia. How do I have it? Tricia Brown Free Spirit.
Hold on. Let's see. I've got it right here. Okay, here's YouTube. Here's your YouTube. Exploring the Paranormal YouTube with Tricia Brown. Okay.
I have a Facebook page called.
And then we've got Paranormal,
that's
Spiritual, and Mystical Experiences.
Yeah. And then my Facebook page, me, Tricia Brown Free Spirit. That's how you find me. And it's a silhouette of a Sasquatch. You can message me.
Okay.
So those are the different ways.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, Tricia, thank you so much for being here. I had so much fun talking with you. We will see you next year. You have a very Merry Christmas. If you'd like, you can stick around for a minute. I'm gonna put you backstage, and I'd love to talk to you after the show. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for being here. We'll see you next year. Okay. Sorry, I feel like I cut her off. I didn't mean to. Don't forget, right after the show, you guys, please join the After Hours crew. They're going to take you on an incredible journey for the next 3 hours. This is the last time I'm going to be off the trails in 2022. So thank you to everybody. You guys have been such a wonderful support system and a great audience. I appreciate it. I'll be back next year, which is in like a couple weeks. It's just next weekend is Christmas, and the weekend after that is New Year's. I may have a show on New Year's Day. We'll see what the SOR team says. But hey, you guys, I'm the Cryptid Huntress. I'm signing off tonight for the last time of 2022. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, a wonderful New Year, and Santa Claus brings y'all everything y'all wanted. Okay. And I love you guys. Have a great night. I will see y'all soon. Bye.